football fans, Gooners of the world. This is Shot and George. I hear a little feedback there. Almost 24 hours after that loss at Manchester City. I don't want to use any adjectives because we have lost at Manchester City before, George. But when you look at the loss beyond the scoreline, this was a massive wipeout of Arsenal. 80% to 20% possession. In fact, in the second half, it was even worse. 18% possession. Arsenal had like no, and I'm exaggerating here, George. We had like 200 passes to their 800 passes, and I'm not looking at my source, at the actual official source. They had 20 shots. We had one. It was a 20-1 margin, and that is why I made this. I was gonna make this a little political and say, is this Arsenal's Kabul moment? But then discretion got the better of value, and I said, let us look on it from a boxing point of view. Was this a knockdown or a knockout? My friend Blackburn George.
Well, I mean, it makes the statistics make awful reading.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go to Manchester City and after half an hour you've got 10 men, anything's possible. I mean, at one point, for a 10-minute spell, we had 1% possession. So that's going to knock your stats into a cocked hat. I don't think you can look too much at that. I'd like to see the stats up until Xhaka was sent off. I think we probably had about 35% possession up to that point, which again isn't unacceptable at Manchester City, because once they've got the ball, you can't get it back. So the stats don't really bother me. I'm not going to go on.
You, George? What bothers you?
The team that he picked, basically, and the way we set it up. I mean, Xhaka, I tweeted before the game kicked off that he was going to get horribly exposed and he would inevitably get the blame for that.
I saw that tweet, by the way, George.
Yeah. So I wasn't saying it after the event. You know, it was also predictable. We've been bullied. This is the word that people like to use in the media and fans. They say that we're bullied all over the pitch and there's no fight. Well, if there's one man you can expect not to be bullied and put up a fight, it's your man. And he got sent off for it. And probably rightly so.
Yeah, he went in with a 2 foot. He was begging for
Well, it wasn't 2 foot. By the time he got to where he was going, this is something that I find strange, that they say it's intent, you know, out of control. If you jump in and there's no obstacles, there's no danger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there were a great deal of danger to the player because he was on the ground, his left foot was withdrawn and folded under him, and his right leg was bent by the time he got to win the ball cleanly.
Yes, he got the ball.
He got the ball cleanly. He didn't get the man. There was very little chance of him getting the man. There was certainly no chance of him getting the man while he was in the air off on 2 feet. So I think it was a marginal call. I think it could easily have just been a yellow. And he actually got a yellow card out initially.
Right.
He got a yellow card out, then thought better of it, put the yellow card away and got the red out.
Right, in his back, yeah.
I think if it had been the other way around, I think if the foul had been done on Xhaka rather than Xhaka doing the foul, that red card would have stayed in his pocket.
Yes, and the guy probably it was only a foul.
If it's a foul.
Yes.
He got the ball and he didn't touch the man. And then he goes rolling over like he's been hit from the stands by a sniper. And Xhaka gets his marching orders. Now, it was the sort of tackle that could have damaged him had he been where he could have been damaged, but he wasn't in a position to seriously injure that player.
Do you think Xhaka was out of control?
No, no, you're not out of control. It's like a long jumper. You know, when they jump in the air to make the leap, they're in the air, but it's not out of control, is it?
Oh no, they're pedaling.
It's a deliberate leap, and he made a deliberate leap to close the distance.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time he'd landed, he was in control because he'd removed his left foot. It was behind him, and he'd bent his right leg, and he won the ball cleanly. I think you can look at it both ways. Should he have done it? Definitely not, because you know for sure that they're going to take every opportunity to send an Arsenal player, and particularly that Arsenal player, off if you do that if you give them that opportunity.
But you know, George, the amazing thing is that many of our fans are assailing Xhaka for putting up the fight, and they showed they replayed the tackle over and over again, and there are very few who are willing to concede that Xhaka did pretty much what most central midfielders would have done in this situation to prevent a team from running all over us. They just fall into the narrative, and this is what has been happening constantly.
Correct. He definitely did what Patrick Vieira would have done, what Roy Keane would have done.
Exactly.
And they would have been lauded for it, you know. But I can understand why, if you get sent off, you get sent off. It was avoidable. It wasn't in an area of the field. I don't think he had to make the tackle. It wasn't like they were through on goal. So it was a bad decision by him. But I think you've got to look a little bit further and say, why was he making a decision like that?
Yes,
he was making a statement. I mean, we're not being bullied. You know, come on, we're going to fight here. We're 2-0 down. We're not going to collapse like a pack of cards or a house of cards. So it was silly in hindsight, but you know, it's Granit Xhaka. He's not going to be bullied. He's not going to be pushed about. He's going to get. So it's not that. It's not. What I'm saying is, it's not black or white, is it? You know. There's mitigating circumstances.
And you know, George,
I think it's ridiculous that he gets lambasted when other players in the past doing exactly that would have been hailed as heroes.
Well, you know, George, by the way, I didn't get to watch all the game live, so let me make this quite clear. I'm not going to pretend I had some more pressing things to do, and this was on a stream, and my what they call it, my DVR is not set up to record the streams on NBC. Let's just say it that way. But at the 20-minute mark, when I was watching live, I did tweet, Xhaka is going to get a yellow card. Why? And this is going right back to your question, to the point you made. This is one defensive midfielder. And you know, George, in the preview on the Uncensored Arsenal preview on Friday, which you had to miss, I was arguing strenuously that Arteta would not put out a team with two young attacking midfielders, that to get something from this game, he would play two DMs just like he usually does. Hold tight, try to nick a goal, because he's going up against City away. And I had a little rant, as is my usual. But I was absolutely surprised to see the team he put out. It was totally naive. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, of course it was. I mean, I tweeted when I saw the team that it was interesting because I didn't know what the fuck the plan was, and it was going to be interesting to see what plan he had. And you missed the first 5 minutes. We were good.
No, I saw that, George. I saw that. We were, we're taking the game to them. But
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not sure this is going to work. They're going to work this
No,
out. Oh,
it's
yeah,
not
you're
going to
coming
work.
forward.
It's not going to work. As soon as they got hold of the ball, it wasn't going to work. They were pressing. We were pressing them high, but once they got in the rhythm and they started passing through us, there's spaces all over the place. I mean, leaving Granit Xhaka exposed, ridiculous. Playing Cedric, Holding, Chambers.
Wow. And by the way, George, we said over.
Kieran Tierney as well. He's not that. I'm sick of hearing about how great he is. He's not the best defender in the world by a long fucking way. And I mean, was it the first goal? He was out.
Oh, they passed around him. They
didn't pass around him. They skipped around him.
Yes. He was lost. He didn't know who to.
No, he didn't. None of them did.
Yeah?
None of them did.
Yes.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing because I don't think they understand what they're being told. I don't think they believe that what they're being told will work, even if they do it. It's sad, really, to see what we've come to.
But George, hold on. I was trying to make this point, and I want you to comment on this. On the Uncensored Arsenal preview on Friday, Biso and Ehab said, okay, this team, defensively, we are set up for 3 at the back. But he went to Blackburn and he played 4-3-3. Now, I didn't want to criticize him at all because I knew he needed goals. Okay, George? But how can you go into a game like this, totally undercooked, and then you're using Chambers, who has never been convincing as a central defender? I know his game and all that. You play Holding in the middle of the 3, and then the player that you're trying to ship outside Kolasinac, you play him as your left centre back. Tierney as your left back, as your full back, and Cedric the Entertainer as your right full wing back. I said full back a while ago. I meant Tierney as your left wing back. It is. When I saw the lineup, I was. I don't know what to say, George. I'm lost. I was like, I'm not sure this can work.
Well, it couldn't work, and it didn't work, and it wouldn't work under any circumstances. It's just absolute nonsense. What the hell is Kolasinac playing for? I mean, he's never a central defender.
Right.
Never. I mean, his weakness is his defending as a fullback. Never mind as a bloody centre back. Cedric, the Entertainer, as you say. Actually, he's not done so bad in the games that he's played. I mean, he's better at right back than
wing back.
Chambers.
Yes.
To be fair.
That's not much of a recommendation.
No, it's not. No, but we've given him a 4-year deal. So you got to play.
George, I'm spitting out my coffee on the keyboard.
You play the fucker,
literally. Keep going, my friend.
Well, so that's it, and I don't see how it could have worked. It's just Odegaard
on
partnering Xhaka, really, fuck's sake. And he's a good player, but
we exposed him.
You imagine like if Arsene Wenger had gone to play fucking Barcelona at the peak and played Ozil at central mid. You know, it's just not going to work. It's not going
George.
to do it.
Okay, thanks for that segue. George, in the last year of the old geezer, the senile, incompetent, we went up to City and we were beaten 3-1. In the season. The possession was 58-42. But listen to this. He played, you know what the old geezer played? He played a 3-4-2-1. And he had a defensive crisis. And listen to this, George. I found it so interesting. Laurent Koscielny anchoring the back three with Nacho Monreal on the left and Francis Coquelin on the right. By the way, he was shipped out by the end. I think by the end of the window. Our midfielders, George, were Hector Bellerin, Aaron Ramsey, Shahid Kolasinac. These are all Wenger players who they want to all get rid of, right? So Shahid was playing like a wing back, right? Because Wenger didn't trust him to play as in the tree, right? And Granit Xhaka in the middle. These are all the players we want to get rid of or have already gotten rid of. Well, your friend Alexis Sanchez was up front with Mesut Ozil and Alexis Iwobi before that. And we gave those mothers, mofos if the Americans would say, hell! 3-1 with Ramsey scoring. Now, my memory is not as great as it used to be, but I remember watching that game and they criticized. They said, oh, we lost again. No, George, if Wenger was here today, we would have lost that game because the squad is poorer. Look at the personnel, poorer. And the coaching is even more horrible. Don't you agree?
Of course. So we say it every week. You know, the coach isn't as good and the team's not as good. But again, you know, a bit of balance.
Yes, that's what we try to do here. But
You
know what, George? Before you go down,
okay,
go ahead.
We lost to Brentford.
Yeah,
unacceptable, really.
Mm-hmm.
But there were mitigating circumstances for that as well. You know, the next two games we were never going to win. Why? Because we're a mid-table team and they're two top teams with top managers. So we weren't going to win them anyway. We were always going to have no points on the board if we lost to Brentford. But that's not totally unimaginable, you know, when you looked pre-season. If we lost to Brentford, I thought, well, you know, I said it at the time, we're going to be 3 games in with no points on the board, no goals scored.
Well, you did. I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure you said no goals scored. I never posted. But by the way, George, it's only 9 shots. I looked at this 9 shots on target. I mean,
well, we didn't have one.
In the worst days of the old geezer, we went up there and we had like double figures in shots against City.
Again, you keep going back to in the old days with Arsene Wenger. Look, there's no point going back there. It's gone. You know, it's we got Mikel Arteta. You know? It's like I used to have an MGB and now I've got a Fiat 500. You know, there's no point me looking back. You know. When I had my NGB, I'd have been pulling birds with this. And you don't want to get in a Fiat 500 now. Now I'm 66. It's gone. Arsene's gone. Let him go and leave him. Let him.
But hang on, George. Hang on. The reason why I say this is that.
Can I tell you why you say it?
Yes.
Because you're absolutely fucked off that we used to have a great football club that you loved. And you're looking at a fucking shadow of it now. And it annoys you and it annoys me. Because no matter how you look at it, we're here because we made it happen. The fans, the media, we forced out Arsene Wenger. And we're always going to go back to that. We're always going to look back and think, how much better was it then? And that's natural. And I understand it, Shutter. I mean, don't think I don't do that. Don't think
I know, George.
Every minute of every game, think, fuck's sake, if only the camera would pan to Arsene Wenger sitting in his chair.
No, it's not just merely that, George. It's not just merely that. It is the fact that this narrative continues to this day. When are we going to face up to the fact that we need to well, I say, Wenger's the values are fundamental. You have to play good football. You have to have good footballers. Don't allow. So, for example, George, and I'm going to make this point here. For example, once Wenger came out, we allowed Kia into the tent. Is it any surprise that we paid 72 million pounds for Pepe?
Yeah.
The agents made 12%.
It's
Is
a
it any
surprise.
surprise we paid 54 million pounds for Ben White? The agents made 12%. Is it any surprise we paid the full release fee for Partey when nobody else came in? The agents made 12%. Think about who has been the winner since Wenger left. It annoys me because we don't realize that that we have gone a direction. And you know what, George? Only because Josh Kroenke, and we see this over and over again, has allowed this.
Yeah, can I just point out to people who have got a short memory that Wenger famously didn't want to deal with agents that were fleecing the club. And everybody was complaining. It's the modern way. We have to get the agents in. We can't get top players. Nobody was saying at the time, let the agents in and sell us a load of shite. That was never one,
Right.
surely.
But
That's what we're getting now.
Yes.
You know, £50 million for Partey. £50 million. Where's the value there? Where's the value in Pepe? Where's the value in Ben White? You know,
That's the point.
they wouldn't be at the club. They wouldn't be at the club under Wenger because there wasn't value in those deals. Not because they're not good enough. They are good enough, but not at that price. Not at that.
And that is what annoys me, George, because we still hang on to this narrative. How are we going to move forward if we hang on to this narrative? You know, so
well,
yeah,
we're going to move forward because, again, you go back 2 or 3 years, and everybody, and I mean, well, not everybody, 90% of people were saying, oh, we should be buying young talent.
Yeah.
In developing them, making them superstars, like Liverpool have done. Look who they bought, Mane and
Salah.
I can't remember who else. It was
Pick up Salah from Roma,
young player.
From Roma, yeah.
And everybody wanted to go down that road because Liverpool were doing it because it meant you would win the league in 2 years if you did that. And now they're trying to do it. Everybody's up in arms. They don't want that. They want fucking superstars. They want us to be buying Cristiano Ronaldo, and you actually see it. Well, look at Lukaku to Chelsea.
Yes.
Cristiano Ronaldo to Manchester United. And who are we buying? Fucking Ben White. You think, well, we can't have them. And you were doing what you wanted us to do 2 years ago. And now, because it's not working straight away, you're up in arms about it. Everything that's happened that hasn't worked has been what the fans wanted.
Exactly. Anyway, George, but moving ahead, which is what I'm very concerned about, is we're up after the international break. We're up against Norwich, which has no points on the board. We're
both us on the table.
They are the champions of the championship. And I, for one, have absolutely no confidence. We're playing them at home. So maybe I'll be wrong because I have a gift of overreacting, I guess. But George, I have no confidence we can get any points from that game. And then we have Burnley with Sean Dyche dying to get back at us for years of humiliation as the next game up. After that, Spurs. People are saying, my good friend Raziki on my blog is saying, I don't think a relegation is likely. And I don't want to overreact, but I said to him, I wonder what the West Ham and Newcastle fans were thinking when they were first relegated from the Premier League. I'm not going back to when they were in Division 1. I'm talking about the Premier League. George, what are your... do you share my concerns?
Not yet, no. No, I can't imagine, can't envisage relegation. I really can't. But I think it'll be bottom half for sure.
Do you see any
but
points
again,
from those two games? Do you see any points from those two games?
Yeah, we could get points from.
You see, that's why I love this format, because when George is, I know when George is being honest or not. Go ahead, George.
We could get points from Norwich.
Yes.
But look at it logically. They're coming with no points. They'll be desperate. And you talk about a home advantage. I don't think it'll be an advantage. I think the crowd and the fans are so low at the moment, it'll not be an advantage to be playing in front of them. Get off to a bad start. First 10 minutes, things aren't going well. And we'd rather be at Norwich than at home. I'm telling you. It'll be evil. You go up to fucking Burnley, and it's a hell of a hard place to go.
Yeah, it's a small stadium, and they make you feel like you're in a cauldron.
At the best of times. You're going up there with no confidence, no points, and then you've got Spurs, and won't they just love to rub it in?
Oh,
you know, and they're playing a lot better than us. Like, you can say what you want, they're playing a lot better than us. So we're not further. So we could get 3 points at Burnley. We could get 3 points against Norwich, and we could get. We're playing away at Tottenham, aren't we? I mean, we could say get a point at Tottenham. We could get 7 points, but we could just as easily get none.
That is my fear, George, because did you see the players when Arteta led this walking over the cross the field to the away fans? They showed it on NBC's streaming channel here over and over again, and it didn't look good, George. The players look shocked, and they look shot, and that's because you and I have spoken about this many a time. And one of the things we said is Arteta still seems to have the players behind him. And I'm not sure from the way they looked. I'm looking from afar, 3,000 miles away, but they didn't look. I didn't like the body language at all.
Can you blame them? Really? No. Can you? And what gets me is Arteta coming on and saying, how united they all are, and how they're working together, and there's no dissent in the camp. And I tell you what was funny, Mesut Ozil yesterday.
Yes. Oh Jesus! Yeah. Go ahead. yeah. Trusting the process, right?
Trust the process.
Yes.
Frowning face and a broken heart, and Twitter went fucking ballistic, like, "Oh, what are you doing interviewing?" And I thought, how funny is that? Actually, I think if it had been me, instead of doing that, I'd have tweeted the same as they tweeted when he left. I'd have just tweeted, "Thank you, Mesut. Thank you, Mikel." And that's
I replied to you, George. I replied to you. I don't know if you saw it. I literally replied to you. I mean, I tweeted back a reply, and I said, look how far down the rabbit hole we are. People are getting triggered by Mesut Ozil saying, this is how you trust the process. When you're last in the goddamn tables, 0 points, 0 goals, and 9 shots on target.
You know what gets me is that a few years ago, when we were fourth, or third, or second, but taking the occasional heavy loss, which Arsene Wenger teams occasionally did because of the way he set them up.
Yes.
People were saying, we're a laughing stock. Well, guess what?
Right.
We're a fucking laughing stock now. Right. Well, literally, everybody. Like, I've been listening to radio programs, watching on the TV, and literally, they're laughing at us. They're literally laughing at us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you remember
it's horrible. I mean, I famously can't be fucking bothered with our fans. They get on my tits. But I do feel sorry for those kids that live in London now. Those proper Arsenal supporters who follow the club for years and years and years, and have banter with the mates at work
Yes.
and now it must just be like, you
Well,
know, living in it's like must be living in Pompeii when fucking
place was burning.
yeah when it erupted,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, fuck all they can do. The world's collapsing around them. So
You know,
I
George, I
don't
got a
know.
little feel of that the other day when a young man who I supervised for years came visiting me, and he's a Manchester United supporter. And he said 0 goals. He started laughing. No, he's no longer he no longer reports to me. And I was like, I think I tweeted it. So he's not afraid of the consequences. I said, Jesus Christ, that is how Arsenal fans in London feel now. But George,
You have to feel sympathy for him. Seriously,
yes,
what
yes,
fucking
yes.
having to go to work on Tuesday morning.
Oh fuck!
There's
There's a young lady.
I went out the other night with a couple of mates of mine.
Yeah.
And I hadn't sat down on my chair before they started ripping into me about Arsenal.
Yes.
But it didn't work because I was ripping in just as hard as they were.
Yeah.
So, you know, the fucking shit. I said, yeah, we are. You know.
By the way, George, we have a new. Well, I don't know if you're new, my friend Madi Mullah. Glad to have you. We need more people like you. You have been posting comments, and I'm not ignored you. You said Vanguard Vision. You're speaking to the converted. You're speaking to the choir. The owners are not football fans. We call them football virgins. They have allowed the idiots. They have allowed the agents to rob them and fleece them, and they have the Playboy Edu running football operations. That just gets on my tits.
Can I just ask you something, Shotter?
Yeah.
In all seriousness, now.
Yes.
What do you like about Arsenal at the moment? What do you think they're getting right at this moment in time?
Jesus Christ! What kind of question is that?
We talk endlessly about what they're doing wrong, but what are they doing right? I'll wait.
I don't know. I suppose the only thing we could agree on, George, is that they have signed a couple of youngsters, Tavares, Lukongo, who they didn't pay too much money for them. And you know me on that. I think we overpaid for Odegaard. But they've signed Odegaard. I wish he had a better coach too, George, who could teach him to play that central midfield. He needs a role model. I said last year that I think he doesn't see I said it this last year, I said it this year. He needs somebody to show him how to see the angles and the spaces, but that's a guy for the future. I think ESR also is somebody. He's one for the future. Saka. And Saka. By the way, George, that's on
the playing staff. I mean,
yeah.
Otherwise, off field, which is eventually is more important than the playing staff because the playing staff come and go. You can alter them. But what are we doing right as a club? What can you think that's a change for the better?
I see nothing, George, and I'll tell you why. Josh Kroenke took over, and he's effectively running this club for his dad. His dad has taken a back seat. In 2018 or 2017, he became a full director, and he's made all the decisions he's made is horrible. The choice of management is horrible. I just said Edu is a playboy. I'm not. That's from what I see. How the fuck can you be on a boat with an agent hamming it up? But not only that, I did say from early, he has never managed a club. He just managed Brazil. And they turfed him out.
They didn't manage Brazil, did they?
He doesn't know when he managed. He was the what they call them, the ones who do the administrative thing, the team leader, whatever. He wasn't the coach.
Lucky.
You know what? Right? They have a role for them. They have a team. They're the ones who go and get the planes
Technical
organized.
director.
Yes, whatever the fuck that is. He has no experience. And Wenger kept him out of the club. People don't remember, forget that. But so I don't, and Vinay, he's a yes man. He's a bean counter. Can't you see from a mile off? I've seen them for my career. How the fuck are you running the club?
I'm going to give you one positive then.
Yes.
One positive.
Yes.
Since Kroenke got 100% ownership, he spent money.
Nearly 300 million on transfers.
Yeah,
and we're not even counting wages, George.
More. He's paying good wages and we're paying transfers since he got 100% ownership. It's been bad spending. It's been spent. It's been squandered.
Mm.
But if you were looking at a positive, you'd have to say that the owner now, owning 100% of the club, is prepared to let it spend a lot of money. So that's one thing that has improved for the better.
And I know that on. By the way, George, I know that on your blog, and a lot of people listening to us, we'll be concerned about us not seeing any positives. Your job, I don't know, George. If you're misspending 300, I'm misspending your 300 million pounds. It's hard to say that it's a positive, but I have to give you that. By the way, George, Omid Javed.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is they said he wouldn't spend money.
Yes,
well,
yes.
I have this theory that he couldn't spend money until he owned the club.
You're right.
Why would you?
No, and I agree with you. No. By the way, because he couldn't spend money, and this was a point I was making to this.
Well, why would he? Because the more he spends, the more benefits.
Usman would have
the 30% that he doesn't own. And that becomes more difficult to become the owner of because it's worth more because of his spending or the club spending.
Yeah.
So that's the only positive that I can take from the whole situation at the moment. And there isn't an answer. That's the problem. Who are we going to get? Who are we going to get with Sack Arteta?
George, come on.
Who's going to make a decision? Vinay and fucking Edu? They're going to pick. Probably a fucking agent or someone with some manager that we've never heard of that has Kai as his agent. We're in a vortex here. We're getting sucked down a plug hole. And all joking apart, you look at Leeds, massive club. It took them 20 years to come back from the hole that they dug for themselves.
Right.
And it could take us that. I tell you what might happen. We might sell it to these oil lamps.
The Qataris. The Qataris. Is it Qataris?
That's about your best hope. We just have to join in the madness, because the old ways have gone. We're never going to compete again running the club as a self-sustaining entity because the others just have too much money now. So Kroenke selling up, us being unsuccessful, really unsuccessful this season, might just nudge him to think, I don't need this.
Well, I've told you this before. I want to give Omid Javed a plug before I even make this point. He said Kroenkes have spent money, but they have also made awful decisions recruiting people who run a club.
We said that though, haven't we?
Yeah,
we said that.
Yeah.
Terrible decision.
By the way, George, you and I have said this before. It would be we both of you would like to be the fly on the wall with dinner between Josh, Stan, and his mom, who guaranteed these loans with a Walmart fortune. And Stan has his own independent fortune, but she has far more money than he does. Because they will have to say, well, Josh, we have spent 300 million pounds. And what do we have to show for it? We're at the bottom of the table. I mean, they can't, and then they'll have to say, but son, in this league we could be relegated. This is not America. That conversation at some point. Lynn. I think her name is Lynn. She might be saying to Stan when in the master bedroom. Hubby, we got to do something about this. You know how wives are.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to think about Stan and his missus in the master bedroom. Please don't take me to those places.
Yeah,
what a cruel thing to do.
Yeah, well, you know how these decisions are made. They're made in the master bedroom, George.
No.
It's a family-owned business, as you know.
No, I hope Josh isn't there as well. Fucking hell. Where are we going? Where are we going down this rabbit hole here?
No. Let's quit while we're ahead. George, at the end of the day, we're gone 30-something minutes, and we need to wrap this up. People don't want to go on forever. No, 40 minutes. Is it a knockdown or a knockout? Some of the very teams. Go ahead.
It's a knockdown.
Knockdown.
But it's going to be a close count.
You think so? You think at the count of 8 we'll begin to come up?
Yeah, we're not jumping up on 1 and 2 here. We're climbing up the ropes like Rocky in the 15th round of against Apollo Creed. Just going to get up on his feet at the last minute. So it's a knockdown, not quite a knockout, but it's going to be fucking close.
Well,
what can you do?
That very optimistic note, people. Let's bring this.
They should do that, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Instead of having that horrible Elvis Presley song for the teams coming out to.
Yes.
I wonder you. They should have the theme from Rocky.
Fans would probably they probably couldn't dare cross over to their way. Anyway, George, thank you very much, my friend. This has been I think this has been the funniest we have been. I don't know if people are gonna find it funny, but we have had quite a few listeners. Thank you very much, supporters. I'm trying to knock away the narrative. If we are going to get anywhere, we have to go forward. George says stop hankering back to the past. But I'm so annoyed that the people...
Yeah, come on, people. Like and subscribe this YouTube channel.
Damn it. And stop following these idiots who took us down the rabbit hole.
Because, I've given up my precious time. I could be doing important things like watching Netflix.
Exactly.
And here I am chatting shite about Arsenal. All for your benefit. Like and subscribe.
And subscribe. By the way, this will be up on George's and my later, I hope, on George's blog. Thank you, Madi Mullah. Thank you, Omi Javed. Thank you for all the 7 beautiful viewers, wherever you are in the world. George and I are going to continue at least until the end of this season.
All right.
Thank you very much.
See ya.
Bye.